Why do people still play World of Warcraft? After all, it is a slow decreasing in population MMO when prime time of the game has passed, yet still manages to keep millions of players playing each day. Whether there's one reason or many, today we'll be discussing 10 reasons why people still play in the World of Warcraft today. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like and tell me why you do or don't play WoW. With that being said, let's get into the video. Number 10. Transmog. While this isn't something that I've put a ton of time into, I know people who play this game purely for the gear that they get in-game and make it into a stunning set they can wear to Azeroth. For those of you who don't know, Transmog is where players farm for gear to make themselves look cooler in-game. One of my good friends who play WoW with is just like this. He can care less about raiding or PvP, unless of course either of those contain an armor set that he wants. While I'm not incredible at transmogging, I have made a few sets for my characters and I do enjoy making myself a new transmog every once in a while. However, I have heard of people who make a new transmog set every week for each of their characters, which is really crazy that people come up with new ideas that often. More than just this, there are constantly transmog competitions being held by big name YouTubers and streamers, which 10 to 40 people can compete to have their sets judged, which is really cool. Transmog is definitely one path of WoW I look forward to spending more time on in the future, and having a good transmog just makes you feel like more of a badass. Number 9. Achievement and Mount Hunting. Achievement and Mount Hunting will most likely forever stay be one of the easiest and most popular activities to pass time with on WoW. More than just an extra activity to do in your free time, some players dedicate almost all their time in WoW simply just hunting for achievement points or hoping a mount will drop for them. I have done a little mount farming and currently have some decent mounts, however, am certainly lacking compared to some of my other friends, and again, this is one path of the game that I'm currently getting more of and getting better at. Mounts can really also be a great way to show off your WoW experience, and seeing a player with a swift spectral tiger can still be jaw-dropping to date, which is really cool. Achievements don't really appeal to me personally as much, as I kind of just see them as a number on the screen. However, there are some achievements that do give mounts and other similar rewards. Many players strive for higher achievement score, plus certain achievements can give you things like titles, which I guess can be kind of cool for some people. But Draenor Pathfinder last expansion kind of just killed my spirit for achievements, and just thinking of those stupid Tenant and rep grinds gives me goosebumps. But for some players, having the bragging rights of an achievement score is all they need. Number 8. Music. WoW's soundtrack is not just one of the best sounding ones I've ever heard, it's one of the most nostalgic for me. WoW is the only game that I own that I'm actually hit with a wave of nostalgia just by the login screen music. World of Warcraft would not be half of the immersive experience it is today without its incredible and awe-inspiring music that we listen to every day we log onto WoW. If you did want to pick up WoW soundtrack, they're available for free on YouTube or for around $5 per album on iTunes if you're interested. WoW's music is something I can work to, meaning I can play in the background while I'm writing a script or editing, as it's so quiet and tranquil it can help me think. Some of the Wrath and Burning Crusade tracks are really epic and almost always make me want to log into WoW. My favorite in-game song would have to be the Stormwind City soundtrack, and it's really absurd how I'm still hit with nostalgia even though I'm Horde now, and it reminds me of my first Night Elf character and wanting to go back to Alliance. So, for me and so many other players, giving us this feeling, WoW's music sits at number 8. Number 7. Story. There's no question that WoW's story is amazing. Each expansion, the devs have slowly been getting better and better at storytelling, which is really good to see, as the leveling in the past 2 expansions has been nothing short of stunning. This expansion is the first time ever where I've hit max level and continue to finish the zone in a minute, as I've cared so much about the story and the characters involved. And that's something that many other MMOs can't necessarily say about their games. This may also be true to the fact that WoW has known races such as orcs, humans, dwarves, and others, while in a game like Terra, you're helping out a miniature dog person to collect flowers, which I can care less about. WoW's lore is one that you can forever immerse yourself in. If you are interested in checking out someone's channel for story and lore, I recommend Novel87. He makes great vids teaching you even about the smallest bits of lore in WoW. Make sure to check him out. On top of this, if a major WoW character dies, I do feel upset sometimes, as I felt a connection to them in game, which few other games have been able to do for me, and that is really special. Number 6. Friends and or guildmates. One of the major reasons many players continue to play WoW, even if they may not be liking the current expansion, is friends and guildmates. This can mean maybe they raid together or even just do something like mat runs with one another, but people do continue to play WoW simply because of the friends they've met or the experiences they've had. This occurred for me, as after I had quit for a couple months, some of my friends convinced me that I had missed so much fun, and in the end I'm glad they did, as I joined a raiding guild and ended up having a ton of fun. There's not much to be said about it at this point, except that friends and guildmates can convince you to play WoW, just have a fun game to play with them, and even just get to hang out with them if you can in real life. With that being said, let's move on to number 5. Number 5. Art. Now this point is an opinion, as WoW's art style is one that you have to have a taste for, however I love it completely. Lately, with the expansion has sucked or been amazing, the art only continues to improve. This means both physically in-game and even the cinematics that we see. WoW's art is one reason I still play, as I find it a beautiful blend of silly and serious. There have been times when I stop what I'm doing completely and just turn on OPS to take a cinematic shot for YouTube, as I want to share what I found with you guys. WoW's art style is gorgeous and ravishing in its own way. It can make you feel a sense of scale when within the world. If you look back to old zones and low-res textures, you can see how much WoW's evolved as a game and a franchise in the art department. WoW's art design team deserves some credit because for the past 3 X packs, I'm constantly distracted by the striking worlds I've been thrown into. WoW's art is certainly one reason people play WoW, as they may buy a new expansion just to see the new zones, models, and raids, which all look equally impressive. Raids are one place that always look amazing and give players who do raid a feeling of importance, like they truly are killing a demon lord or a warlord, rather than just mindlessly tapping away on keyboard until a model in-game dies. And this is exactly why art style plays a huge role in World of Warcraft's success. Number 4. PvP. PvP will forever be one of the main paths of endgames for players in almost all MMOs. Something about getting to fight another player in an arena or battleground really makes you feel epic and like you're fighting for honor and glory or to make your faction proud. PvP is one path of endgame that I don't do this X-Pack but loved in the past, as arenas are crazy fun. 2v2s are my favorite. However, YouTubers like Swifties how PvP really boomed in the first place, showing people how much fun doing PvP actually was and how you can make a one-shot macro where you pop all your cooldowns and burst down one enemy. PvP has not been getting much love in the past few years, however, with Legion bringing only 2 new arenas and no new battlegrounds, and WoD having only the dreaded Ashran. However, Blizz has new honor touts to hopefully separate PvP from raiding as a path of endgame, as players have been requesting this for years. PvP also has large events such as worldwide arena tournaments where you get to stare and wonder as 6 players battle head to head playing their class flawlessly. For being an incredible path of endgame, PvP sits on a number 4 spot. Number 3. Raiding. Much like PvP, it's given that in an MMO RPG, raiding is a vital part of the endgame in WoW. Raiding is one path of endgame that has seemed just been getting better and better each expansion, with newer bosses, more fun mechanics, and overall just better raids. For example, Hellfire Citadel was in WoW for a good 6 months and it was meant to bridge the gap between WoD and Legion. However, since it was such a good raid, people were not as annoyed as they could have been with this content shout. Raiding is one path of endgame that I do know a lot about, as I raided Heroic all of WoD and of Pug, Legion, Nighthold, and Nightmare, as I love getting down a boss surrounded by my guildmates and other players. Raiding is one thing that Blizzard has proven time and time again that they know how to do right. For even when an X-Pack has sucked, the raiding is always fun. There are some new players who might buy an expansion just to see the sole purpose of seeing the new raid and the bosses that are within it. My favorite raided Legion has got to be the Emerald Nightmare because the leveling gave me reason to care about killing Xavius and freeing scenarios from the Nightmare, so it felt pretty good to kill the bastard in the end. Raiding also comes with multiple difficulties in the form of normal, heroic, mythic, meaning that players looking for a real challenge could mythic, while the more casual players may raid normal. As I mentioned, I raided heroic last X-Pack and can't wait to jump into the Tomb of Sargeras. Number 2, an escape from reality. I feel like all WoW players might experience this to some degree. In World of Warcraft, I'm a mighty paladin, bringer of the light, wielding an artifact weapon which I will use to cut down the Legion, when in real life, I'm just a normal guy. All WoW players get this feeling, and we get this experience when we play WoW, as it's an escape from the real world, whether we realize that or not. If I ever have a bad day, I know WoW can always manage to cheer me up, so I jump online, and it never fails. On top of this, people play World of Warcraft just to get away from their same old, boring life which they leave in every day. While in WoW, they can be killing a demon surrounded by other heroes of Azeroth. More than just this, World of Warcraft can also make us experience emotion when we get a rare item, a lower character dies, or reach down a raid boss. WoW is a world we care about, and each day we immerse ourselves in the world, which we care so much about. And if you haven't played WoW, this point might not make much sense, but an escape from reality really is one of the main reasons I play WoW. Number 1, nostalgia. Now this point was hands down the easiest to pick. The number 1 reason people play WoW is nostalgia. I also believe that all the other points could fall under this because they all contribute to this point. People play WoW or come back to it because they remember the fun and adventurous things that they did in the wonderful world. Whether it's running a raid with their best friend in Wrath or getting Ashes of Alar from Kael'thas Sunstrider in the Burning Crusade, people play World of Warcraft because they remember how much joy the game actually brought them. For example, when I go into the Night Elf starting area, I am actually filled with excitement, and it's all because I remember loving leveling my first character just because of how exciting it was for me in this new and strange world I've been placed in. My friend C has the same experience anytime he goes into Dragon Soul, so he remembers running it with his guildies and killing Deathwing once and for all, which felt awesome. WoW is the only game I really get hit with nostalgia from, and still to this day try and make those same memories that I've made throughout my life in the World of Warcraft. So in the end, many players play this game just because they remember all the great times they had in the strange world, and simply play it because they look back at the game nostalgically and need to play it because they love the game that we do. I do think that's why WoW is so often criticized as well, because people remember all the great times that they had in their first experience in WoW, and can never seem to capture the same feeling when they get back in the game. So that's all for this one, guys. Let me know if you think I missed any points, or if you think I should have changed one in the comments down below. This is my first top 10, so if I did have some issues in it, I do apologize. And I should also mention that at the time of recording this, 7.2 just released literally like 2 hours ago. So let me know if you guys want to see some guides about that, or just guides about World of Warcraft in general. Make sure to drop me a like, as it took forever to make, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.